I'm very fortunate. For all of you, I'm called Grandma Sparky. My real name is Helise Bridges, and I am the founder of Blue Ribbons Worldwide. And our mission is uniting humanity through the power of love, one child, one community, one country at a time. Our whole goal is to acknowledge what's working in this world instead of always talking about what isn't working. Building people up and connecting people heart to heart, cheering each other on for their dreams, and healing our planet, and reaching out to people who do that and nurture us and support us. And so today we're going to have that opportunity. You're seeing two amazing looking gentlemen right on this side, and one's a doctor that I will explain entirely, and the other one is a secret right now. Because I will introduce both of them in a moment. But first, let me just tell you why we're doing this. For those of you that are wondering what's the best hospital to come to, if you're a cancer patient, and I want to acknowledge that the U.S. News and World Report ranked OU Health Stephenson's Cancer Center as the best hospital for cancer care in Oklahoma. And Dr. Gunter, he's an MD, okay, and he's as part of the OU Health Stephenson Center. Got that right, huh? Cancer. So let me say it again. I'm going to say it again so that everybody gets this. OU Health Stephenson Cancer Center, radiation oncologist. Nod your head if I got that right, Doctor.
That's right.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? I want to make sure, because what the staff at OU Health Stephenson Center and they're sharing Randy's cancer-free. Randy is not only my student and he's a Blue Ribbon ambassador, but he is a retired Chief Master Sergeant for the U.S., and he knows I always point up, Air Force.
Correct.
I think about the airplanes flying, but I also think about how he brings himself up and how he's cancer-free right now. What's important for us to experience right now is the kind of mission and energy and love there is in this in OU Health. I've talked to almost everybody, and when you come in, there's so much more that you want. You want to be gifted, you want to be greeted, you want to be loved, you want to feel safe, you want to feel heard, you want to feel empowered, and you want to know that the physician that is caring for you, and the staff, and who's the rest of them, and all that we've got the physicians, the staff, and Randy,
faculty,
and the faculty. Thank you. So there are 10,000 people here to support you. 10,000. The physicians, the faculty and the staff. Imagine that. So, Randy, why don't you please tell everybody what is the reason why you chose OU Health? Mm-hmm.
In 2019, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and I was being treated in another medical system at that time by another physician who retired, and he referred me to another doctor in the Stephenson Cancer Center. And when I got there, they've been doing active surveillance, doing lab tests and monitoring, doing biopsies, making sure the prostate cancer did not grow and get worse. And it got to a point where my labs increased, my risk to health was going up. And in consultation with my surgeon, he referred me to Dr. Gunter here. that I might be a candidate for a treatment of proton radiation therapy, that I may be the appropriate category of risk, that my cancer may lend itself to that treatment, which is kinder to surrounding tissues. And you correct me if Dr. Gunter, if I get any of this wrong. The quality of life improves because there's reduced side effects. And the prognosis at the end of the treatment was 99% of patients are cancer-free still at 5.5 years or better. Is that accurate, Dr. Gunter? Yeah. And it's a thing of success. And I felt gifted to get in that system. My relationship with Sparky has been going on for a year, and she mentors me, and I've been in training classes and presenting, honoring people with the Who I Am Makes a Difference ribbons. And as I went through this process as a patient, I was telling my mentor, Sparky, how awesome this was. And she says, do you think they would do an interview? Because this is a wonderful story of resilience that is worth telling.
Yes.
And you wouldn't normally do that as a person, saying, I'm confident that this is something worth telling. But Sparky has some credibility going 40 plus years in this business. And as I recognized and got the privilege to recognize Dr. Gunter and his staff of professionals, I can tell you story on story, but one I'll share real quick. One day, one of the things, I'm supposed to come in with a full bladder for my treatments. And when I came in, I had drank water, and I was very uncomfortable. And the staff sensed that. They communicated to me. They recognized that. And they said, you need to go to the bathroom and then come back, and we can make sure everything's okay. And it was, but they're accommodating in that process. It was very personable. And that's just one story. And I went back for treatments for 5 times in my unique situation. And I'm so blessed that I was able to do that. And I thank Dr. Gunter for his skill. And I shared that with him, that it was a privilege. His nurses, the advanced practice nurses that you have there, they're phenomenal. That's my story.
So, you know what's so gentle about this and so intimate, because you have to be intimate with your patients, just so that everybody knows. I'm going to show them the blue ribbon. It says Who I Am Makes a Difference. Can you all see that? Okay. In a little bit, I'm going to honor both of you with this blue ribbon, right? But when people hear it, they may not understand. This is an acknowledgement ceremony, and so much it's missing. So Dr. Gunter, tell me, and I'm reading what I wrote so I can get this right. I know what prostate cancer patients. Tell me more about protein therapy and how is that again? Proton therapy, and why it makes a difference as a skilled physician. Teach us.
Yeah. So Randy was diagnosed with localized prostate cancer, meaning his prostate cancer hadn't spread to any other areas of his body. And so patients with localized prostate cancer have a wide variety of options in front of them as part of an effort to, where in the direction medicine is going, we're trying to customize treatment to the individual patient and their unique circumstances. And that's something that OU Health and the Stephenson Cancer Center particularly it pays special attention to. So Randy had a lot of different options in front of him. He was initially managed with active surveillance because we also don't want to overtreat prostate cancer. But when his prostate cancer finally became aggressive enough to warrant treatment, he was seen by our urologic surgeons to talk about surgery as a potential option. And we take a multidisciplinary approach for patients with prostate cancer at the Stephenson Cancer Center. And so he was referred to speak with me about radiation therapy. And radiation therapy comes in a wide variety of forms as well, proton therapy being one of them. In Randy's case, he was an excellent candidate for proton therapy because he didn't have significant risk of lymph node involvement in his pelvis. We intended to just target his prostate and the tumor within it. And so in such cases, proton therapy is an excellent tool to accomplish that. Compared to other forms of radiation therapy, specifically X-rays, which is what the vast majority of men with prostate cancer who are receiving radiation therapy receive, proton therapy has a significant advantage in decreasing the radiation exposure to adjacent normal tissues like bladder and rectum. And by decreasing that radiation dose to the uninvolved structures, we theoretically can improve the chances of him making it through therapy without side effects and reduce his risk of long-term complications.
May I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
So, Randy has been sending me all this information so that I understand it better and better. But proton, what does that mean? The word, to explain that for me.
So protons are charged particles that make up atoms that are part of all matter. And we are able to take protons and accelerate them to relativistic speeds, like a certain percentage of light speed, and irradiate tissue using them. It's a certain flavor of radiation therapy. We also use X-rays or electrons, and some centers will use neutron therapy. And all of these are different tools at accomplishing the same thing, to kill cancer cells. Some techniques are useful for certain situations and others are useful for other situations. And for prostate cancer, proton therapy is an excellent option because compared to X-rays especially, we can reduce some of that radiation exposure.
And tell everybody, thank you for that. By the way, I go back, I'm 82 years young now, and the biology and the thing about cutting a frog up wasn't my that wasn't me. But so thank you. I remember now protons when you talk about it. But also there is an element of being cancer free that I think there's a percentage. I don't want to speak it. I want you to speak it. What happens when this proton therapy? What's the results of it?
So the proton radiation works to damage the DNA in cells, specifically cancer cells, though it can also happen in normal cells. And so that collateral damage is what we are trying to minimize as much as possible with proton therapy. When the DNA of a cancer cell is damaged, it is no longer able to replicate effectively. When it does try to replicate and divide, which is what we don't want cancer cells to do, it ends up dying. And so as a result of the proton therapy, when these prostate cancer cells try to divide and replicate and spread, they die off. And so with Randy's kind of prostate cancer, we have a very high chance of eliminating all of the prostate cancer cells in the prostate and render him cancer-free in the very long term.
So
statistically, Sparky, that has been 99% of patients are cancer-free for 5.5 years or beyond. And that numbers with the increasing data pool is always it seems to be climbing, correct, Dr. Gunter? It's very encouraging. And
yes.
I feel blessed.
As modern medicine improves, our outcomes are always improving. Just looking across a wide variety of clinical trials, these days, this kind of prostate cancer, we achieve over a 90% efficacy rate at 5 years or even further out. So some studies will be a little higher, some a little lower, but routinely, the vast majority of patients are being cured of their prostate cancer.
So do people come to your hospital from all over the country or world, or because you're so well known?
We do have a very wide catchment area. As the only NCI designated cancer center in the state of Oklahoma, we do see quite a few patients from across the state or in neighboring states as well. We do have some patients that travel across the country or even internationally to receive therapy at our center. Some patients are specifically interested in proton therapy, but because radiation therapy in general is very widely applicable, it is utilized across the world. Most patients will receive treatment closer to home, but we are very proud to treat patients from all over.
So the thing I wanted to ask you is, what do you Um, how long have you been working at the hospital?
So I've actually been here for quite a while. I did my residency at the University of Oklahoma and the Stephenson Cancer Center. And following my residency, I stayed on as faculty. So I graduated my residency program in 2019. I've been treating GU cancers like prostate cancer since then. It's been an excellent place to work. As Randy's mentioned, my coworkers from all different disciplines are an absolute pleasure to be able to treat patients like this. So it really has been the main motivator for sticking around.
Very
Yes.
encouraging. There's something about the atmosphere of the care episode right there, where you're getting the treatment, you're getting seen. They're putting you in that gown that has a split up the back, all those things. But the environment is so professional, and the personnel you're interacting with are so encouraging, and they're so well skilled in what they need to do. They're with you to accomplish what you need to get done, and they're in it with you.
You know, when you say that, maybe we catch something on TV where somebody comes out and they're, from COVID or they're breathing, or somebody is cancer free. And I mean, when Randy was so exuberant, he calls me up and he says, I'm cancer free. I mean, and
I got
it's
the
like
ring of gone.
it's a whole new world, because when you hear the big C word, it changes almost everybody's life. I mean, what you thought was important, it becomes insignificant to, oh my God, I've got cancer. And then on the other side of that, with all of the money that's being poured in, and all of the help that everybody has, and being just being there for the patient, like you say, I think for me, there's nothing more important than when I go into a restaurant, or I go into a hospital, or I go into any place, and somebody just notices me and just stops everything and just gives me that complete hello. I'm glad you're here. Uh,
I'm
it's just
present
like
in the moment with you.
it's just in the moment. You can't buy that. You can't run around and tell everybody enough about it.
Yeah.
And the rest is if they can do that, they'll probably, heal you in a million of different ways. I have a special gift for both of you. It's a blue ribbon. It says who I am makes a difference. And I would be privileged I'm going to start with Randy and then Dr. Gunter. But Randy, the thing that I love most about you is you are a sponge for learning. You're smart. You have a heart of gold. When I talk to you about being a chief master sergeant, retired now, in the U.S. Air Force, I ask you about community building. I ask you about how the service brings people together, so it's regimented, but it's got to be about people. And you talked to me and said, yes, but it's only about each person doing what they're doing and really acknowledging that. And I just love you for that. And I always reach out to you because you understand the power of the power of acknowledgement, and how it brings love to the world in a way that you can distinguish 52 the characters of this ribbon, Maslow's hierarchy and others. So thank you for that. And Dr. Gunter, I've been hearing about you for a bunch of times, and the hospital staff, and the nurturing and the support, and he cannot wait to share that. And I just want to say that everybody was so inspiring, and well, I can say this because I get to say this, but you're a very good looking fellow.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for receiving that. And would you both accept this gift from me?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you to do something special, okay? I'm going to take the spark from my heart, and put it in the cheerleaders in your ribbon. It is a sound that makes dreams come true, but I want you both to do this with me. Repeat with it. Snap your fingers and say and a one.
One.
Say and a one. Say and a two.
And a two.
And say and a three.
And a three.
Bing! Bing, B-I-N-G, bing. And every time you hear a bing, you'll know that the child within us just got our dream, because we're helping each other and building everyone up, cheering them on for their dreams and saying, what is your dream? How can I help you? What do you need? We all need to have that kind of support, and you both are masters at that. Would you accept, and then it's tradition for me to give you 2 extra ribbons to pay it forward?
We're working through channels, but I do have a heart to recognize the professionals there at OU Health.
Yeah.
It's just a fabulous place, and the excellence and life-changing care that I've received, I'm eternally grateful. So thank you for your excellence, Dr. Tyler, and your staff.
Yes, and
absolutely privileged to be here for you.
And just to you have a compass. I say that the blue ribbon is the key that unlocks the door to our souls of each other, to connect the heart to heart to each other. We're being authentic here. And over 50 million people have been impacted by this message because I started it. And I am very intentional about bringing love to this world, okay? In a way that we can hold that. So I thank you, Randy, for having a vision. I know there's 10,000 members of, there we got the physicians,
faculty, and
staff. I get it right?
Yes.
So we're going to go with that dream, one person at a time. It doesn't start all at once. We just take it on, and how we could be a model. Your hospital, you, Randy, being a model for other hospitals and other schools and communities in our across our nation and world, for how do we create healthy, vibrant, connected people who know that who they are makes a difference, and that dreams really do come true because we're doing it together. God bless you. Good job. I'm hanging out. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Gunter.
Thank you for having me. It's great meeting you, Sparky, and I'll be seeing you soon, Randy.
You bet.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.